I told her that I love her, but not to the extent of not hurting her. I told her that I need her, but not to the extent of getting bothered when I lose her. I told her that she's my one and only, but I was not foolish enough not to have a spare. It was a very cold evening when I came home late as usual. She sat at her normal spot waiting as usual, but I never care, so I passed her without saying a word. I think this time around the whole things that I do has gotten to her nerves, because she didn't pet me as usual. But still, I didn't care and I left for my room. After a while, she came into my room and started calling me names. I couldn't imagine what gave her the charisma to talk to me that way, when I have taken every courage in her, when I have given her depression as an everyday impression, when I have given her suppression as her closest friend, when I have lowered her esteem to the extent that she doubts if she's still a human, when I have inflicted pain that should have made her go insane, when I have made her wane from the day I called her my dame. But I didn't want to react as usual until I know who borrowed her some courage. She landed a word that shattered my heart. She said she wondered the hell that conceived me. Man, it struck to my brain that I have to rain on her again. But as if what she said was not enough, she continued with, my mom must be in hell for conceiving a demon like me. Then I couldn't bear it anymore. So I started with a punch on her face that already looks like Mike Tyson's punching bag. Like a footballer, I kicked her straight in the stomach and she fell down. As usual, I wouldn't just stop there until I made sure I hit the nail on the head. I continued hitting her as she was crying uncontrollably, but her tears couldn't help, because those tears can't melt a stone heart. Maybe she should have tried crying lava. In that case, it would have helped her. After beating her, I left her there in shambles and went to the sitting room. But still, I couldn't figure out where on earth she got that charisma. After a while, she walked into the sitting room with her bags. She told me she was leaving and slapped me for putting her through all the pain. I was shocked. I didn't beat out that crazy charisma of hers. I couldn't imagine telling a story about how she left by leaving me with a slap. I couldn't allow it to end just in comedy. So I dragged the picture frame close to me and pieces it on her head. And she fell to the ground. I wanted to leave immediately, But I noticed that she didn't abuse me as usual after being hit. But I never bothered. I stood up because I thought she must have learned manners not to do that anymore. I tried to move further, but I noticed that she was not shedding tears. Oh my goodness. This time around, I became scared. I called her by her name, but she did not respond. I raised her hands, but it fell lifelessly. I checked her heartbeat, but she was not breathing. I looked at my hands that I placed on her head, and it was stained with blood. There and then, my ego disappeared. My pride left. My strength ran away. My punch and kicks couldn't help me. My eyes opened wide. Now I know I have taken a life. I wished I could turn back time. I didn't mean to do it this way. I regretted for the first time in forever. I had footsteps, so I rushed to close the door, but it was too late. The person had already taken a clear view and was leaving. My strong heart melted. I knew it must be my amiable neighbor. I heard her shout immediately. He has finally murdered her in cold blood. I wailed aloud. I yelled like never before. Tears dropped down my cheeks for the first time since I became a man. My mind came with a torment, jail or suicide. I couldn't imagine going to that jail. So I headed to the kitchen to get a knife. But before I got there, some men rushed into my house and held me tightly. There and then, I discovered that I was a weakling to have started the violence. Say no to domestic violence. As for the violated, walk away when you still can. Walk away when you are still alive.